vote on the Senate's Inflation Reduction Act could come as early as next week. And while the last-minute bill covers a lot of ground, many of the Democrats' top priorities fell to the wayside during secret negotiations between Senators Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin. So for more on this, let's bring in Joel Payne. He is a CBS News political contributor and a Democratic strategist. Joel, it's good to see you, my friend. So let's get into this. The bill is now at about $385 billion. And that goes towards combating climate change and building up U.S. energy production. But describe for the audience what was left off the table when it comes to specifically clean energy.
Yeah, look, it didn't go as far on climate change provisions as some wanted it to. It didn't go as far on taxing wealthy Americans as it wanted to. There's a lot that's left on the cutting room table. But I do think it would be remiss to not focus on what's in this. And given the fact that we're in a 50-50 Senate and that if you look at Joe Biden's approval ratings, they are 10 points underwater. It's pretty impressive that he was able to oversee what appears to be a successful package of probably the most significant climate change legislation in history. And this comes on the heels of a big piece of legislation in regards to chips. There's other key legislation that we've seen passed in recent weeks, the gun safety legislation that was recently passed. Obviously, earlier in Congress, you had infrastructure. I think the problem for Joe Biden and for Democrats is telling a story that brings all this together, that demonstrates command of government, ability for government to be a force for good. The raw material is there. This is a pretty productive Congress. I was a part of the last productive Congress in 2010, where we did so many things. But you've got to be able to tell a story. And that's the challenge now for President Biden and for his allies in Congress.
So, Joel, how do they do that? Because now you've got this countervailing line coming from the GOP after these 2 quarters of GDP, no growth, the economy's going the opposite direction. That's a line we're going to hear over and over and over again to the midterms. So you've got, that communication coming from the Republicans. Why does it seem to be so hard for Democrats to get together and get on the same message, even when they're doing things potentially like getting this bill passed?
It is the horrors of having a big tent party. When you have a big tent party, you have varying opinions. You have a party that includes Joe Manchin and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's a wide swath of political opinion. And so it's hard to get everybody on the same page. But it no less takes away from accomplishment like the one that we're staring in the face of for Leader Schumer, who needed a big win, for President Biden, and again, for others in Congress. So I think you have to have a realistic understanding of like what's possible in this Congress. And I think the things that I just ticked off and the things that we're talking about here is what's possible. It wasn't possible to spend $6 trillion like Bernie Sanders probably talked about a year and a half ago. That's not possible with this setup of Congress. So I think once Democrats kind of fall into what is possible, you're able to kind of tell a story that says, here's what we did. We made healthcare more affordable. We've gotten closer to our climate change goals, et cetera. Those are the things you have to do to tell a successful story.
So telling a successful story is going to matter as we get closer to the midterms, Joel, as you know. And I wonder if a win like this is enough to convince people, because it's not just Republicans that are looking at these economic numbers. There are some Democrats who are looking at them as well. I wonder if that's going to be enough to sort of signal to the Democrats that they got to turn up for these elections. If not, the Democrats run the risk of losing the House and possibly the Senate.
Well, so Vlad, there's 2 parts to this, right? There's what we're talking about, what they've accomplished, but it's also what's the alternative? What's behind door number 2? And I think Republicans now have a big responsibility to demonstrate what is behind door number 2. Is it going to be real solutions on lowering inflation, on improving the standing of the American people, or is it extremism? Is it going to be candidates across the country like Herschel Walker and Blake Masters and Eric Greitens, who represent kind of the worst of kind of the MAGA wing of the Republican Party? And so that extremism creates an opportunity for Democrats against the headwinds of history in a midterm where you always are going to lose seats. It's the best opportunity Democrats have to either stave off big losses, or in some cases, I mean, you're looking at forecasts now that says Democrats could hold the Senate. I don't know if that's likely, but the fact that it's possible, I think, suggests that Republicans have a real challenge on their hands as well.
Now, Joel, some Republicans are warning that this bill could exacerbate inflation, which, as we've talked about, is a real problem for Democrats. Is there any concern about this, legislative victory being kind of tampered by inflation as we head into the fall?
Yeah, I mean, the economic voices that Republicans have leaned on, folks like Larry Summers, who've been talking about inflation for a year, have actually come out and been the biggest proponents of the Inflation Reduction Act. He was a close consigliere of Joe Manchin as he made his decision to support this, and he came out publicly and said that he thought that this was anti-inflationary. So I don't know if that holds water. I think it's up to Democrats to elevate those voices and elevate the voices of others. But I think Republicans, again, going back to the extremism, I mean, they're looking at a situation where they voted against the veterans health care bill earlier this week because they were throwing a hissy fit about being outmaneuvered here. And that is something that they've got to be accountable for to the American people as well.
All right, Joel Payne, thank you so much.
Thank you.